In Django, a project can contain multiple apps. These apps don't represent an entire application. They represent a small part of an application that is focused on one functional area. For example, let's say we're going to build a website like Amazon. Amazon has a lot of different functional areas, such as customer service, orders, shipping, and so on. Each functional area includes a bunch of highly related functions. So with this architecture, we can break down a large complex project into smaller, more manageable, and more maintainable apps. Also, we can reuse these apps in other Django projects. For example, we can build an app that represents a blog and then reuse this app in any website that needs a blog. Okay? So in this lecture, we're going to create a new app called Movies. In this small app, we're going to have all the functionality for displaying the list of the movies as well as the details for a given movie. So let's open up the terminal window. First, we need to stop our development server. So Control-C. Now here, let's run Python manage.py start app, and we're going to call that app Movies. All right, let's go ahead. So this created a new directory here, Movies. Now don't worry about these U's here. The reason you see this is because I added this project under source control. You're not going to see this on your machine, and don't worry about it. So what do we have in this directory? We have a directory called migrations. We're going to look at that shortly. Below that, we have our init file. And again, this tells Python that this is a package. So potentially in the future, we can distribute this package on pypi.org. So other developers can download this package and add it to their applications. Below that, we have admin, and this is where we define how the administration area for managing the movies will look like. Next, we have apps.py. Now, the name of this file is a little bit confusing because here we are within the boundary of one app. So why do we have a file called apps.py? But basically, we use this to store various configuration settings for this app. A better name would be config.py. So I'm not sure why Django developers named this file apps.py. But that aside, after that, we have models. And here we define classes that represent the domain of this app. For example, in the domain of movies, we could have classes like movie, genre, and so on. Below that, we have tests.py. And this is where we write automated tests for this app. And finally, we have views.py. And this is where we define our view functions. What is a view function? Well, here's an example. Let's say we head over to our website /movies. When we send a request to this endpoint, Django is going to take this request, pass it to a function which we call a view function. That view function takes our request and returns a response. That response could be simple, plain text, like what you see here. It could also be HTML, JSON, XML, image, and so on. So a view function, or view in short, is a function that takes a request and returns a response. Now, if you're familiar with MVC architectural pattern, here in Django, we have a variation of this pattern called MVT, or Model View Template. The views in Django are like controllers in MVC. If you're not familiar with this concept, don't worry, let's move on. So, views.py is the module where we define our view functions. And that's what I'm going to show you next.